Hey, how's it going, everybody? Today I wanted to look at our schedule for the year and, do a little bit of a prediction before we head into training camp, kind of where we're going to be at, roster wise. There's a lot of this is dependent on, really how well Jordan Love plays. But I think, Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love are going to, team up and kind of work things out and be, moderately successful. And it doesn't hurt that the beginning of this schedule isn't the most difficult thing. So let's just go on down the line. So starting at home at Chicago rather, against the Bears, I think that's going to be a win. The Bears are just generally, still trying to figure things out and, not the highest quality of team there. So then week 2 at the Falcons, I think that's going to be another win. Desmond Ridder, another unknown situation with the quarterback there in Atlanta. So Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur and company are going to handle their business on that road trip. Going at home opener against the Saints. Unfortunately, I think this one might end up being a loss. It's a little bit of a crapshoot as well. But Derek Carr being there is a little bit more of a steady quarterback than kind of what they've had. Statistically, you look at last year and Andy Dalton, may have been at roughly that same kind of level as Derek Carr, but I think there's a lot of buzz and a lot of excitement around having Derek Carr in the building down in New Orleans. So I think that might translate to them, putting some things together early on. Then following that up the next week at home again, on a short week as well against the Lions. So I think we're going to end up sneaking that one out. It's going to be a tight game. The Lions are set to be a pretty good team, but they did not start the season great last year either. And, there's a little bit of me that thinks that they might have a similar, kind of slow start to the season and then kind of get some momentum rolling later in the year. But we'll see, what that next meeting later in the season comes out to be. Then going on the road again at the Raiders before our bye week, I think that's going to be a win as well. Really just not confident in what the offense is going to look like with Jimmy Garoppolo at the helm there. It's the Raiders heading to Vegas. Let's just handle our business and, get on to the bye week. So as I mentioned, the bye a couple times now, following that up on the road at the Broncos, which, buy into the Russell Wilson hype, training video if you want, doing some skier type action. I do think with Sean Payton, they're going to be a little bit better than they were last year. As much as I liked Nathaniel Hackett, and I think he got a little bit of a raw deal in that whole situation, I do think the Broncos are going to be a little bit of a tougher opponent this year. So I think that's going to end up being a loss there. Following that at home against the Vikings, I think that's going to be a win. The Vikings are, still a little bit of a threat. Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, but they're losing weapons, here and there. Dalvin Cook gone. Thielen, granted, Thielen didn't move quite as well and wasn't the threat that he had been for years before that. But just moving on from those guys, there's going to be some transition. And, the fact that they weren't, statistically a great team when you look at like advanced metrics last year. So I think there's going to be some regression. They're not going to be that 13 win team that they were last year. Then at home against the Rams, I think that'll be another win. Matt LaFleur has Sean McVay's number. To this point in Matt LaFleur's career, we haven't lost to the Rams. So let's go ahead and chalk that one up. Then going on the road to the Steelers, and this is going to be a little bit of a rough stretch in the schedule, I think. The Steelers playing at, formerly known as Heinz Field. I don't remember the name anymore right now. It's a tough place to play. Good fans in Pittsburgh that are going to make life difficult on a young Jordan Love in that environment. So not that he's going to shy away from it. It's just going to be, a little bit different. And then with a young kicker going in the wind swirls around in that stadium. If it comes down to, some kicks needing to be made, is Anders Carlson going to be able to make those kick for us? So we'll see. I think that's going to be a loss. From the Chargers, the next week at home, it's another tough opponent. Justin Herbert is, I think going to take a big step this year, even though, some of his weapons are, getting a little up there in age, and Keenan Allen, and then Mike Williams doesn't have the speed that you'd want, but I do think they're going to put things together, and they're going to be a formidable offense. So it's going to be tough for our defense to kind of shut them down. So I chalk that one up as a loss. Then on the road, Thanksgiving Day in Detroit, unfortunately, a loss. I think, like I said before, Detroit is going to be a bit of a slow starter and then kind of get their footing, mid-season, and then kind of end up roughly around where they were last year. I think, 8-9 wins is probably what I expect from them. Following that up with maybe the toughest opponent on our schedule, probably the toughest opponent on our schedule in Kansas City. Another loss there. So if you're counting now, that's 3 in a row that I've got. But wait, there's more. Oh, wait. No, there's not. Going on the road again to New York at the Giants. I think that's going to end up being a win. And then Tampa coming to town, cold December weather. I think that's going to be another win. The Panthers at home, another win, another young team. At that point in the season, no rookie is really a rookie anymore, as they kind of say in cliche, but it's still a young quarterback in Bryce Young that's starting there as well. And while they've got some pieces around him, I don't think they're going to be able to hang with us this time of the year. And then going on the road to Minnesota, another tough environment for Jordan Love. I do think we're going to end up taking a loss there. And then bringing it back home for the Bears in Week 18. Time and all that still to be determined for this game. But I do think we're going to end up chalking that one up as a win, further advancing ourselves in that, head-to-head rivalry standing. So if you're counting, looking at that, that's a 10-7 record for the Packers this year by my prediction. But, this is pre-camp. There's a lot that can happen, a lot of injuries, unfortunately, hopefully not. Hopefully we have no major injuries, and, really nobody wants to win games based on, their opponent going down and having major injuries to them either. You want to see the best players out on the field for both teams and really kind of see where that goes. But, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this prediction? Which games do you think, I got wrong here? Are there some that it's a little bit of a stretch maybe that we win, or maybe it's a stretch that we end up losing, 4 straight under Matt LaFleur? Heading into last year, I would have probably been with you on the idea that we're not losing that many in a row, but then it happened. So just let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed this, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future Green Bay Football Corporation content.